Hello and welcome back to Hooping Espresso, and we are back. I've had a bit of a little hiatus, 2 weeks hiatus, but we're back now for some exciting Series 13 news. And it's been an interesting 2 weeks. Part of the reason why I haven't uploaded is A, I've been busy, and B, not C, B, there's been a lot of uncertainty about what kind of Doctor Who Series 13 news to expect. Throughout this week, there's been these sort of little glitches, I guess, on BBC One, which we're going to be talking about the whole roundup thing, but I just thought I'd explain why I've been a bit busy. But yeah, I basically didn't know whether to upload something in case some big Series 13 news. But we're going to get into what has finally been released after quite an interesting week, and we're going to break it all down, including some exciting new photos from the SFX magazine, and I just can't wait to break it all down with you. So let's get on with the video. So, as I mentioned, it's been a bit of an interesting week for Doctor Who news. It's sort of been very off and on again with a lot of public perceptions saying, oh, the marketing isn't good enough. But they've really ramped it up today with the conclusion of these sort of glitch teasers, which have been playing across BBC One for the last week now, since last week strictly, when the glitch first appeared. It's been very stressful, to be honest, because a lot of the uncertainty has lent to a lot of people guessing when the announcement will get released and having to stay up till midnight on one occasion. So there is a lot to talk about. We've got a lot to break down. But first I'm going to talk about, obviously, the release date, which is the 31st of October 2021, which confuses me, to be honest, because I think it's fair enough release date, but I don't know why they've kept it a secret for so long. Like, I mean, the schedules for BBC America were released about a week ago now, and everyone was saying, oh, well, it's not there, so why keep it a secret from BBC America? Like, I don't necessarily get why it was such a secretive release. I mean, with any other series, it's just been tacked on to the end of the first trailer. That's just been a thing with the Chibnall era, really. The release date has never been on the first trailer, but usually it has been in the past. But so it's interesting because in a way this time has been a pent-up announcement leading up to announcements of a release date, which is a bit of an odd marketing move. I have to say, while I think the marketing is quite strong for Series 13, actually, I think it's a questionable choice of marketing. I think it's been an interesting sort of way to market a series. But yeah, the release date is the 31st of October 2021, which means it's Halloween special. Well, I guess Halloween, not special, but it's a series. And of course, the series is going to be entitled Flux, which sort of makes it a series-long arc, I guess. I mean, we knew that it was going to be a series-long arc, but this kind of makes it more serialised, like a classic Doctor Who story, which kind of makes me think, well, will it just be Flux Part 1, Flux Part 2? Will the individual episode titles be gone? I also wonder what it means for, like, DWM previews. Are they just going to preview the whole series instead of having multiple previews for each episode? But yeah, it does sound interesting. I'll give them that. And it kind of gives me like a Crack in Time type vibe, or like the Rift or something like that, where monsters are coming through. She mentions the Sontarans, the Weeping Angels, the Ravagers, I think. There were a couple of other ones as well. Actually, no, looking over it, I think it was just the Sontarans, the Weeping Angels, and the Ravagers. But yeah, I've seen a lot of people already point out that so if you had the Sontarans, would make, and then you got Weeping Angels makes Swore, and then R would be the Ravagers, and then I don't know what M was, but M was something. But that makes up Swarm. I can't quite remember what the M stood for now, but that's something. But yeah, the Swarm thing that's not... Oh my god, I'm losing it. Chris Chibnall said back in the New York Comic Con panel a while ago. But yeah, it's been an interesting strategy to announce this, because it's basically just been... In the last couple of days, we had the Sontaran spaceship supposedly being projected above Liverpool. I don't know if anyone actually took a picture of it. I saw a picture of someone taking a picture of it on front of a news article, but I couldn't really work out where that had come from. So I don't know if it was ever actually projected or not. But that night was an interesting one because everyone stayed up till midnight and there was absolutely nothing at the end of it. And we all were just a bit clowned, I guess. But yeah, so we've had that. That's been another promotional technique, which obviously confirmed the Suntimes, essentially. I think it's interesting they've gone to confirm the monsters this time, because everyone was starting to think maybe they wouldn't. I'm surprised they didn't do it with any like promotional pictures. In fact, there hasn't been any new promotional pictures really since the SFX ones, which came out, I think it was Friday. But so the SFX, it's the same day as the Sontarans, but we're going to go through the pictures now. We're going to talk about them and sort of discuss theories about that. But yeah, the idea of the Flux and everything coming together, I think it's been quite an interesting and interactive adventure as well, because there was the call-in type thing, which I did actually do. There was a fun little call-in thing where if you phoned up a number, and it was something, and the number had 3110 at the end, which obviously 31st of October, which meant everyone predicted it, but that's an interesting thing. So you called her up and she was like, oh, you got to give me details on all the aliens and stuff. And that, so you leave a message at the end of it. It was an interesting little thing. It was quite fun. I've saved the Doctor's contact to my phone as everyone else was doing it. I labelled it Doctor Who though, because why not? Anyway, but yeah, that is the sort of fun promotional thing. They also had little billboards up as well promoting the little glitch thing. I'm surprised because the Doctor Who Twitter account went completely dark for a whole day, and then so did YouTube and Instagram, and I'm really confused as to why they did that. I mean, everyone was talking about it, like it got trending for pretty much a whole day on Twitter, but I still don't quite get what the aim of doing that was, because they came back just shortly before this teaser thing dropped. It's not even a trailer, but they did that and they just changed to the profile picture. Like, everyone was expecting a really major change, but no, they just sort of disappeared, and I don't really understand why. It just got people talking, I guess, the ultimate gain of it. But it was quite stressful, really, because I didn't really know when they'd be back. I was constantly checking Twitter for updates, but I guess that's the idea. But yeah, let's have a look at these profile pictures from SFX. So this first picture from SFX magazine, which is in stores now, I say it's in stores now, I haven't actually seen it in store. I did go out looking for it, I couldn't find it. I also couldn't find the GWM 1983 special, so clearly there's a bit of a circulation problem with magazines where I am at the moment, but I digress. Here we've got a picture of the TARDIS and John Bishop as Dan and Amanda Gill as Yaz, and the Doctor with her sonic screwdriver, and they're sort of looking out at space. And I think I've seen a lot of people theorise what they're looking at. A lot of people say Gallifrey, a lot of people have said, I don't know, the Earth or something like that. I think that in this scene, we're sort of seeing this Flux thing that they're mentioning. Now that we've got that information, it does sound an awful lot like that Flux thing, potentially, and maybe they're looking at that. And from the promo poster that they released, it's sort of like the rainbows are sort of, I don't know the word, like fluttering off towards the end, like they're sort of separating. I'm wondering if that's maybe some kind of reference to, like, I don't know, time stream sort of floating away or something very similar to like the Loki finale is what pops into mind, is when the multiverse explodes. So maybe it's something like that, and like the whole like different things, the Flux into question is sort of like, I don't know, it's sort of explosion or something that sort of brings all these monsters out, I guess, something like that. So I reckon that's what they're looking at. I've seen a lot of people say it's a very reminiscent of the Series 10 promo posters with like the Doctor holding on to Bill, she falls out of the TARDIS. I can see that. I particularly thought of the part 1, the DVD they did when they did the split season. I thought of that because that's got a sort of bluish tinge to it, and you've got that in this picture too. So yeah, that's what I think of this picture. This next picture has Jodie Whittaker pointing a sonic screwdriver at some kind of gun here. And I saw theories point out that in the next picture I'm going to look at, they saw what looked like a kind of Gallifreyan symbol, and so they theorised that it was going to be old High Gallifrey or like ancient Gallifrey, and Jodie Whittaker's, well, the Doctor's gone back there to change the past or something. And you can also see, I don't know if anyone's pointing it out, I haven't seen anyone point it out, I just noticed it while I was getting pictures. You can also see that in this picture, you can see that sort of the background there behind the gun person. As for who I think the gun could be, I reckon it could potentially be the Doctor's first confrontation with Vinda. Maybe that they meet and maybe not necessarily friends at first. Also, it could be a Sontaran gun. I did kind of think of those two Doctors, massive red water gun type guns when I first saw this. Or maybe it's a new monster. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. There isn't really much I can talk about this one, because it's sort of a very generic Doctor Who picture. This final picture is the one that Thary's brought up as being old High Gallifrey. I mean, a lot of people have been seeing these sort of Gallifreyan symbols, and I've seen a lot of people saying, particularly in the finale, it's sort of set on Gallifrey. So part of me wonders if this Flux thing is linked to Gallifrey, whether it's some kind of Time Lord that starts it. I mean, potentially Vinder, I could theorise that maybe Vinder is sort of a henchman for the villain, and then once this thing is unleashed, maybe they see that whoever the main villain of this series is, I mean, they could have a big secretive villain that's sort of twisty villain that we'll find out later in the series, but maybe this Vinder is a sort of henchman of this villain, and that when this thing happens, this Flux, Vinder decides that maybe they should lend the Doctor a hand. I mean, we'll see. I mean, he does seem to have a sort of Han Solo anti-hero type vibe to him. I don't necessarily think he's completely good. I certainly don't trust him. He kind of seems like a Jack type character, where you can't necessarily always 100% rely on them. So we'll see what comes of Vinder, but I definitely think that could be linked to it. And if Gallifrey is linked to the Flux, I potentially think that it could be some kind of experiment gone wrong. That could potentially hint at the Rani. Who knows? I mean, there has been a lot of talk about the Rani recently, so you never know. But I don't think so, essentially. But yeah, here we got some interesting set design. I did think for this set, when I first saw this picture, I did think this set was a bit basic, but also it has that sort of classic Doctor Who charm, where I thought its basicness sort of aids it a bit. But yeah, there's some interesting props on the wall. I do wonder kind of if they're sort of like relics or weapons or something. There's an interestingly designed camera, which kind of reminded me of the ones from the Dalek City way back in the 60s, which is why I probably thought classic Doctor Who set. And then we're sort of looking around the corner, so again, what could they be looking at? Maybe it's the start of the Flux? I don't know, we'll see. On moving back to the glitch, you've kind of, it's showing you the glitch now, but you can kind of see it's an interesting sort of TARDIS is sort of under attack type thing. I'm wondering if these Ravagers, I know a lot of people are probably going to link them back to Big Finish's audio series, The Ravagers for the 9th Doctor, Christopher Eccleston. I'm not entirely sure, it could completely be a coincidence. We'll see. But I wouldn't be surprised if these Ravagers did have some kind of link to the Big Finish audio. But nevertheless, this sort of clip type thing just sort of shows them muddling about, and they're giving a general warning, which I quite like, because it's sort of like engaging the actual audience. It's sort of making them feel part of the adventure, which is what marketing is all about, really. I mean, well, not necessarily marketing, but sort of getting viewers engaged, which is what I think is going to help this series. I think it's some of the strongest promotion we've had for a long time on Doctor Who. Obviously, there's no sign of a trailer being anytime soon. I do, for all the fact that I know a lot of people are saying, oh, we should be having marketing a lot sooner, particularly if it was a 31st of October release date. I do kind of think this is about right, because it's a nice enough short of time. So you've got this sort of clip playing, and then presumably we're going to get another trailer, and all kinds of news and stuff and announcements and photos are going to come across the series. And because it's a serial, you can sort of talk about the entire thing, really, because there's no need to, like, hide stuff about later episodes if it's all connected. Well, obviously there are certain things you have to hide, but there'll be presumably a lot of promotion upcoming in the next 4 weeks. Of course, we've got the next big time I think we'll maybe get news is potentially next Thursday, roughly, or just before. It's because DWM comes out, so there'll potentially be a preview of the series. I'm reckoning we're going to get a series preview rather than individual episode previews, which is a bit disappointing given the lack of new series, like, current era content in the magazine at the moment. So if we do just get that and they don't talk about it again, that would be a bit worrying to me. I'm sure they won't do. Hopefully we'll get more content about it. Obviously it means that the series will conclude on sort of early December, when was it? I had it marked out. December the 7th. So it'll run from... No, hang on. December the 5th. So it'll run from the 31st of October to December the 5th, which means there's only like a month until the New Year's Day special, which means there's quite a nice little gap before that. And I wonder if the series will end on a cliffhanger leading into the New Year's Day special. I think that'd be a really nice thing, because we had the Revolution of the Daleks cliffhanger at the end of series 12, where the Doctor was hijacked by the Jadoons. I'd love to see that kind of thing again. I mean, particularly if the arc kind of continues into the specials as well, it'll be nice to have that link as well. So yeah, overall, I cannot wait for Series 13. My hype is really boosted. I was starting to think that the series had been sort of overshadowed by Russell T Davis's announcement, but I think we're full on getting into Series 13, and hopefully the hype train is rolling. So yeah, thanks for watching. Do not forget, Doctor Who returns the 31st of October 2021, this Halloween. Perfect. I'm sure they'll do something very scary. I mean, Liverpool, a lot of the tunes starting in Liverpool quite late at night, so that's going to help. Another thing I noticed is the autumnal feel, actually, is because autumn's sort of like setting on the summer, and of course this is sort of setting on Jodie's era. This is the last full series before she leaves, so I like that the autumnal vibe is sort of foreboding. I wonder if it will link or set up her regeneration later on as well, and the sort of being her knowing that this is her last adventure. But yeah, that's it from me. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, why not consider subscribing down below or liking the video. Share your thoughts on this exciting Series 13 news, and have a nice day.